Welcome to Forensic Friday.
Where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all. Hello, friend.
Hi.
And hello, forensic friends. Oh my gosh. We've already been talking for like an hour, but I do have my sweatshirt, my Forensic Friday
There you go.
hoodie, and my
I
Dahmer
was saying,
glasses.
your Dahmer glasses don't count. I have my true crime is my therapy.
I love
sweatshirt.
that sweatshirt.
I know. I saw it. I went shopping with Gare.
I know you did.
And poor guy, I was like, okay, you got to be my judge because Janine's not here. And he's like, oh God, I don't know if I'm qualified for this.
He's pretty experienced. 20 years of shopping with me. He's pretty good.
Well, so I like would try. I was like, okay, so I'd try my because I got mediums because I like oversized.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I would try the small, and I was like, what do you think? He's like, well, if it fits, but it's not like the comfy fit. And I was like, you know what you're doing, sir.
He does. I'm telling you, Garrett was such a freaking champ at CrimeCon. He's just
He literally is shopping with me, which I'm like, I'm a nightmare to shop with. However,
totally.
I will tell you, and I hope Jessica listens to this. Jessica, my friend who lives in Montana,
Mm.
is literally the worst person to go jean shopping with.
Oh. One thing that Nat and I do that other people in our field do not do, or at least I have not seen anyone do it yet. We do have a tendency to color coordinate and or coordinate our outfit just a little bit when we speak together, which I love. It's kind of a on brand thing at this point. It's fun.
Yeah, people like know us that way.
Yes, and we don't necessarily match exactly. We typically will have one piece that kind of matches or coordinates or whatever. So we have
Except
to
our
decide.
matching blazers, we definitely purposefully
Okay,
did that.
those were outstanding though. I mean, that hot pink blazer was epic. I didn't know we would both wear black dresses under it, but neither of us knew until the night before what we were going to wear with it. So that's part of it. But we have to decide what we're going to wear. We're speaking next month at the summit, so we need to decide what we're going to speak on. Yeah, did I say next month or this month?
No, you said you were correct.
Oh, thank God. Our calendars are getting a little wild. We've had a few people reach out for us to speak. We have a panel coming up, panel discussion pretty soon. That's really fun for us when we get those opportunities.
Yeah, it'll be really exciting to do those things.
Yeah, especially wasn't it the Phoenix Center at CU Denver? Yeah. That's very cool organization. So
yeah, we're excited.
We're excited. So today's mini, we actually have kind of an unsolved case.
Okay.
So I don't know a ton of background, but we had the experience at CrimeCon of having people come up and speak to us about missing family members, unsolved cases, the wall of missing people at CrimeCon. And Nat and I have shared already that was really moving at the convention, was just how much emphasis there were on survivors, but also victims, their families. So this was one of those cases, and they actually came by the table, and I talked with Wilveria Sanders, the brother of our missing person. And I don't think that they think he's alive at this point, but they're hoping for information that would lead to the recovery of his remains. Maybe they would be able to formally press charges. So we thought we would share this story today, and hopefully we'll be able to get in touch with her and give you guys some links in case you have information. And I'm going to give you some ways to reach out at the end.
Perfect.
Yes. Did you get to talk to her, to Wilveria?
We talked to so many people.
I know it's hard to even keep everybody straight.
Probably I did.
Well, she was wonderful and really strong and so passionate about figuring out how to get some closure for the family.
Oh, I love that.
She is missing her brother, Shelton Sanders.
Got it.
She said in an interview, he was my whole world and he still is. I've dedicated my life to my brother and giving him a voice. And that was very much what we talked about when she stopped by the table. And I'm very thankful to know about her brother's story. So on the evening of June 19th in 2001, 25-year-old Shelton Sanders went missing slash disappeared en route to his family home in Rembert, South Carolina. There was a man that was with him at the time who has become the prime suspect in the case. So, a little bit about Shelton, and I found this from a couple of different articles and then a little bit from my conversation too.
Okay.
So he's one of four siblings born to his parents, William and Peggy. He was the oldest and described as the role model for all the other siblings. So he was very, very special and beloved to his family and really a leader in his family among his siblings. He
Mm,
was enamored with technology. Makes me think of Gare, like a little bit of a nerd. Enamored with technology. He was a Boy Scout, very outdoorsy. Loved animals, loved cooking, playing percussion in his high school marching band. He went to Hillcrest High School, class of 94,
mm-hmm.
and then he later enrolled at the University of South Carolina in Columbia, South Carolina, and he majored in administrative information management. At work and school, he was known as kind of a computer guru.
Mm-hmm.
And while taking classes, he worked at USC Medical School as a computer systems manager. So he worked, went to school, had a 3.5 GPA, and he
Mm,
would have finished his degree in the second half of 2001,
okay.
which really sucks. He was like really at that point in his life and his career where
Yeah.
he was just getting there.
Yeah.
Everything was in line for him to finish school,
Very intelligent.
job.
Sounds like, yeah.
Oh, so smart. He lived with his family in Rembert, South Carolina, and he would drive 40 miles to work and school almost every day. His
Okay.
plan was to open his own computer programming company, among other business ventures that he would talk about, but he just never had the chance.
Mm,
So on June 19th, 2001, the last activity from his cell phone was at 9 p.m. that evening when he called his family to say he'd be home in about 2 hours.
okay.
10 minutes after this, he tried to call Mark Richardson, who was a friend of a friend that he was with that night. They were looking for a place to host a bachelor party for like a mutual friend.
Okay.
Shelton and Mark were hanging out that night, and they went to at least three hotels trying to find the right location for this party they were planning. They booked a room at the Residence Inn along Stone Ridge Drive, and then Shelton took Mark back to his residence. Mark said they went their separate ways, with Shelton driving the 40-mile drive home to his family's residence. Neither Shelton nor the vehicle were seen again for quite some time.
Hmm.
So on June 20th, Shelton's employer called his mother because he didn't show up at work, and the employer was asking where he was because it was so unlike him. So Sanders, his whole family starts looking for him. All the calls are going to voicemail, and they're thinking, this is so weird. I mean, this is a guy who's very connected to everyone, super responsible, and he would never just go off the grid like this, ever. Police in Sumter County kept an eye on his bank account and cell phone activities, and there was a final call at 9:07 p.m. to Mark Richardson. That's the one I mentioned. When they brought Mark Richardson in, he said that he'd lost his own phone and had Shelton call to help him find it. You know, like you and I've done this before. You like lose your phone somewhere and you ask your friend to call it so you can
Right.
find
Right.
it wherever you are.
Right.
So they scoured the road. Police went out and looked the whole road from his parents' house to where they had been.
Okay.
He had been driving his brother's 1988 Oldsmobile Regency. They also checked local highways. They brought in helicopters. They searched
Mm,
waterways. There was a tip at one point that maybe his body had been dumped at Water Tree and Congaree rivers, but they didn't find anything there. They also wondered if maybe he'd been targeted because his father was a magistrate that handled bond hearings for Sumter County
okay.
Correctional Center. So there was a little bit of like, was somebody pissed at his dad and targeted Shelton?
Mm.
There was no evidence and no body found for some time. They raised $20,000 for information leading to the recovery of his remains.
Mm-hmm.
They never found any of his belongings or what he was
Wow.
wearing, including even he had a decent watch that he was wearing, a black Movado watch, never seen again. Shelton's brothers reached out to all of their friends and mutual acquaintances. Everyone was helpful and cooperative except Mark Richardson.
Hmm.
Mark let people know, even early on in the investigation, he never really liked Shelton and they weren't close. So imagine you have the last guy he was seen with kind of acting like, yeah, I didn't really like him, but he left my
Right.
house and I'm the last one who saw him,
Right. Like
right?
super sketchy.
It's super, super fishy. So June 26, 2001, Mark all of a sudden agrees to talk to the family. He acted nervous and defensive, and he said Shelton dropped him at home between 11 and 11:30. That's what he
Hmm.
said. He's like, I'll finally talk, and that's all he had to offer.
Okay.
hmm So then
Weird.
about 2 years later, on April 26, 2003, there was a noise complaint at the Greenbrier Apartments off Park Lane Road in Columbia, South Carolina, near the Columbia Place Mall, just a few miles from where he was last seen.
Hmm.
Between buildings 18 and 20, they found the car that disappeared with Shelton, his brother's car.
Mm-hmm.
It was backed into a parking spot facing the apartment building, and it had been there for at least 2 months, but likely closer to 2 years. The
Okay.
tires were flat, the gas and oil was almost completely empty, and there was a decent amount of black fluid leaked out of the vehicle and dried on the pavement below.
Hmm.
They found no evidence from the vehicle. They couldn't find anything that they could use in the vehicle.
Weird.
Richland County Sheriff's Department joined the investigation and brought Richardson in for further questioning. So they're like, this Mark Richardson man, we got to talk to him some more. So at least they did that.
Yeah.
Sergeant Sean McDaniels with the Richland County Sheriff's Department told Dateline in 2021 that he made statements in the past that led investigators to focus on him as the prime suspect. So here were
Hmm.
the statements that Richardson made that people think are really suspicious, but they have no evidence. They just don't have
Okay.
any evidence.
Okay.
Here's what he said to the investigator. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. Is there such a thing as an accidental death in the state of South Carolina? When the investigators asked him to explain, he said, how can I explain getting rid of a body? And then
That's
he
weird.
refused to say anything else.
That's super weird.
Investigators could also place Richardson where Shelton's car was found on the night he went missing by his cell phone pings. So not only did they now know where the car was, they could place Richardson there, which is not nothing,
Right.
right? I mean, a lot of the Koberger case, I mean, they had the knife sheath, but a lot of their evidence was around the cell phone pings,
Right.
right? So in October of 2005, based on that evidence, Mark Richardson was arrested and charged with murder. April of 2008,
Dang.
I know, April of 2008, he stood trial and the jury was unable to reach a verdict. Seven
Okay.
jurors voted guilty and five voted not guilty, so it was undecided.
Oh my gosh.
It was ruled a mistrial and the family was devastated. They can't do a retrial yet because they don't have enough evidence. Sergeant McDaniel said the jury was racially divided. I don't have any additional detail on that.
Okay.
Um, but here's what we know about Mark Richardson. He's the last person who saw Shelton. Gunshots were heard at his house by credible witnesses, and all evidence points to Richardson.
Wow.
There's no
The
evidence that
gunshots
points to
aren't
else.
enough evidence for them to go off of?
Because they don't
Wow.
have a gun, they just don't have anything. And he didn't live there either. So it's not like this was his apartment necessarily where the car ended up.
Right.
So they just really, it's like very circumstantial, unfortunately.
That's
So
wild.
another trial is unlikely without finding his remains.
Hmm.
And that's where we come in, where y'all come in, right? So Richardson lives in Greenville, South Carolina, 100 miles from Columbia.
Okay.
And again, allegedly Richardson was involved. We have to say that.
Right, right, right.
Also, bro, if you did this, like we're coming for you. So
Right.
prepare yourself.
I'm gonna look him up. Mark Richardson.
Mark Richardson, he is in Greenville, South Carolina, 100 miles from Columbia. There is a Facebook page that we will share with you, Finding Shelton Sanders. And there's a tip line with a reward that is now at $50,000 for a confession or his remains.
Mm,
So if there's any tip out there that leads to a confession or to his remains being found, they have established a $50,000 reward.
mm.
So,
That's wild.
uh,
Yeah, they're, I mean, young.
I mean, isn't it just so sad? I mean, look at this
Hmm.
sweet man who loved his family,
Hmm.
lived with his family. And isn't it just terrible that he goes to look at locations with like a friend of a friend? He's probably being a good friend and setting up this
Yeah,
party for a mutual friend. He
yeah.
did not know this guy very well at all.
Well, obviously,
And then, something happened and he never came home.
that's so weird.
Isn't that weird? So Richardson, I mean, if it quacks like a duck, I mean, I don't feel great about it, allegedly. He was the last person to see him. They found the car. I mean, he was weird AF when they interviewed him. It doesn't look good for Mark
No,
Richardson,
no.
but without the remains, they just don't have enough evidence probably to retry the
Yeah,
case.
yeah. The gunshots are wild to me.
I know. I know, but they don't have a weapon. I mean, the neighbors just happen to hear gunshots. So
Mm,
it's just also, I mean, all of this is what I would not be a great attorney for this reason alone. For me,
right.
it's like, how much do you need? But then I understand that people have been falsely accused and convicted
Use.
over not having enough physical evidence. So I understand it. It just
Right.
sucks
Right.
in a case like this, particularly when people act a fool after it happens. Then it's just hard.
Right.
But his sister is just fighting the good fight for that family, and she was just the coolest. So if
Mhm.
you guys are in South Carolina, if you know what we're talking about, if you have any information at all, I'm gonna see if we can get a little segment from Wilveria, uh,
Yeah.
or anything from her that would be helpful to you guys. I have a couple phone numbers. Richland County Sheriff's Office, 803-576-3000. Or you can even call the family has a hotline set up specifically for Shelton Sanders and
Hmm.
information about his case. That number is 803-427-4209.
Love that.
Yeah, so we're going to do a few of these cases. We've had some really amazing conversations at CrimeCon, and we're
Mhm.
gonna try to honor these folks and their families. And you never know, stranger
You
things
never
have
know.
happened. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's important for justice to come to the family and also closure,
Oh yeah, and
and
there's
just knowing what happened.
well, and I think in this case in particular, one of the things the Petito family has done that we appreciate so much is elevated
Hmm.
missing people who don't typically get the same kind of airtime, whether it's Indigenous women, Black women. There's lots of populations that are not represented. A
Yeah.
Black man that goes missing is just not going to get the airtime, the attention, the um, intentionality necessarily that other
Right.
groups would get.
Right.
And so Nat and I want to try to highlight some of those cases. And unfortunately, a lot of the cases that we cover are white women or,
Hmm.
real headline grabbers, which typically
Hmm.
involve, again, white women. And it's just a hard it's a hard truth, I think, in our society, but something that maybe we can contribute to some change and
Yeah.
give a case like this as much of a platform as we can give it, which isn't huge, but it's something.
Yeah. I think it's bringing awareness, and that's like the first step we need.
Absolutely. So, Wilveria, we love you, girl. We're going to do the best we can for you. And forensic friends, if you know Mark Richardson, if you know where he might have been
Yeah.
even that long ago, if he made some kind of confession at a bar or he
Right.
said something weird when you were dating him,
Phone it in.
phone it in.
Phone it in.
Yes, because it'd be really great to see some closure in this case for sure.
I agree. Well, thanks for bringing this one. I think there's a few that, like you said, we'll do um around missing people because it's important. I've been trying to post more of those that come up too that I see.
Oh yeah, I've been
So,
cool. I collected some and wrote little notes
aw,
when we were there. So I tried to hold them the best I could, and we'll cover as many as we can. So
yes.
yeah,
Well, thank you. Let us know if you guys have information. And as always,
bye, forensic friends. I'm Janine,
and I'm Nat.
and as always, thanks for listening. And join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.